Okay, let's unpack this. We've got some pretty big news coming out of the wizarding world. And yeah, it involves a very familiar face stepping back into, well, some very distinctive platinum blonde hair.
It really is. It's a moment that I think is definitely hitting home for fans who, grew up with the Harry Potter films.
Absolutely. So today, we're doing our deep dive into the recent announcement that Tom Felton,
Draco Malfoy himself.
exactly, the actor who played Draco in all 8 original films, he's joining the cast of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child on Broadway.
Right.
So our mission here is basically to pull out the key details from the source material we have, explore why this is, well, why it feels so significant for the play, for the fandom, and just kind of understand the context around it all. And we're working from, one main source here, a BBC report outlining the facts.
That's right. Yeah, just a straightforward report from the BBC. It lays out the core news clearly, gives us the necessary details, the who, what, where, when.
Okay.
And importantly, some insight into why this is a big deal.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get straight to it then. What is the actual core announcement here that's got everyone talking?
So the main news is Tom Felton is reprising his role as Draco Malfoy.
Wow.
But this time on stage, in Harry Potter and the Cursed Child.
Right.
It's happening at the Lyric Theater in New York. And it's a limited run scheduled for 19 weeks.
19 weeks. Okay, that's a pretty solid commitment.
It is.
And when does he actually start? When can people see him?
His performances kick off on November 11th. And for anyone listening who's thinking about tickets,
Yeah.
the general sale starts June 12th, but there's a pre-sale 2 days before that, Juneteenth.
Okay, good to know. Mark those calendars. Now, this isn't just, standard casting news for a long-running show. There's something that makes this feel bigger, right?
There really is. And the unique significance here, the thing that makes it stand out, is that this is actually the very first time. The first time any actor from the original Harry Potter movie cast has joined the spin-off stage production in all the years it's been running.
That is remarkable. I hadn't fully clocked that. Years in London, years on Broadway, and he's the first. And Felton himself, he mentioned this kind of feeling, and he called it a full circle moment for me.
Yeah, that quote really nails it, doesn't it? It perfectly captures the sentiment. And there's this specific detail that makes that full circle moment feel even more resonant, maybe?
Oh, what's that?
Well, when he actually steps onto that stage in November, he will be 37 years old.
Okay.
Which is the exact age Draco Malfoy is written as in The Cursed Child.
No way. Seriously.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. That age alignment. It almost feels like fate or something. It really grounds it, doesn't it? It connects the actor's own timeline to the characters.
It really does. It adds this powerful layer for fans, who followed these characters' journeys for literally decades now.
Yeah.
And Felton, he seems genuinely invested in returning to the part. He talks about stepping back into Draco's shoes, the famous hair.
Oh, the hair.
Right. And in this teaser video he put out, you actually see him reaching for his wand.
Oh, yeah. And he drops that iconic line, "Scared Potter."
Ooh, chills. I bet that got a reaction.
Absolutely. And his official statement kind of reinforces all this. He said being in the films was one of the greatest honors of his life, and that he's thrilled to be able to see his story through now on stage.
Yeah.
It just shows his, continued connection to the role.
Yeah, real appreciation for the character and the whole legacy. So, okay, maybe for listeners who aren't quite as familiar with what happened after the books and films, let's just quickly touch on the play itself, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child.
Right. Good idea. So, The Cursed Child, it's a stage play, and it basically functions as an epilogue to the original 7 books.
It picks up, 19 years later?
Exactly. 19 years after the end of Deathly Hallows.
Yeah.
So you're seeing Harry, Ron, Hermione, and yes, Draco as adults.
Right. Dealing with jobs, marriage.
Sending their own kids off to Hogwarts. Draco is very much a father in this story.
Oh, yeah. And the play's history. It started in London. Yep. Opened in London's West End back in 2016. Then it transferred to New York, to Broadway, 2 years later in 2018.
And it's been a massive success, right?
Oh, huge. The source actually notes it's the highest-grossing non-musical play in Broadway history.
Wow.
And it's sold over 10 million tickets worldwide, still running in places like London, New York, Hamburg, Tokyo.
10 million. That's incredible. And just circling back to Draco in the play, he was obviously, pretty villainous in the films, but the play explores him 19 years on.
Right.
There's more complexity there, right? So Felton's playing that older, maybe more nuanced version.
Yes, exactly. That's a really important distinction. And actually, the producers of the Broadway show, Sonia Friedman and Colin Callender, they commented on Felton joining, and they really spoke to the cultural significance of this moment.
Oh, yeah. What do they have to say?
Well, they said they could not wait to see Felton perform once again with the same depth, gravity, and humanity he has always brought to Draco. But they also specifically acknowledged this mix of nostalgia and evolution that his casting brings.
How so?
Well, what's fascinating is how they explicitly linked it to the fans. They said, and this is a quote, "It's not lost on us that this is a cultural moment charged with nostalgia, evolution, and emotion." And that Tom's return to Hogwarts bridges generations of fans and breathes new life into a beloved story.
That really hits it, I think. It taps right into that deep connection fans feel with the original actors, the ones who first brought these characters to life on screen.
It absolutely does. It speaks volumes, really, about how enduring this franchise is and that unique bond between the audience and those original film actors. This casting, it sort of leverages that connection powerfully,
Right.
bringing back a familiar face into the story that's continued beyond the movies.
Yeah. And it's also interesting context, isn't it, that the source mentions just briefly the recent news about casting the young actors for the new HBO TV series adaptation. It just kind of highlights how incredibly active the whole Harry Potter universe is right now.
Yeah.
You've got the books, the films, this long-running play, and now a TV show in the works. Felton's return is happening right in the middle of all that.
It really shows the constant evolution, the expansion of that world. And, just as background for Felton himself, it's worth remembering he hasn't exactly been sitting still since the last film wrapped in 2011.
Sure.
He was in Rise of the Planet of the Apes. He made his West End theater debut a couple of years back in 2.22, A Ghost Story.
Great.
He was part of that big Return to Hogwarts 20th anniversary special.
Yeah.
And he published his memoir, Beyond the Wand, in 2022. So he's definitely stayed active, stayed connected to acting, and, well, the Potter legacy, too.
He certainly is kept busy.
Oh.
Okay, so let's maybe start to wrap up this deep dive. We've unpacked the pretty exciting news. Tom Felton is joining Harry Potter, the Cursed Child on Broadway.
Yeah, and it's a major event, principally because he's the first original film actor to make that move to the stage show.
And it feels like a genuine full-circle moment for him personally, especially with that amazing coincidence of him being the exact same age as Draco in the play.
Yeah, that's quite something. And like the producers pointed out, it's really a significant cultural moment, too. It taps into all that fan nostalgia while also, bringing fresh energy to the play.
So just to recap the key details for everyone listening. Tom Felton as Draco Malfoy. It's for 19 weeks.
Starting November 11th.
At the Lyric Theater in New York.
Yeah.
And tickets are going on sale very soon.
Right. This whole thing, his return, it really underscores that deep connection so many fans have with the original cast members who brought these characters to life initially.
It does.
And it maybe raises an interesting question for you, the listener, to think about as you process this news. How important do you feel it is, or maybe how important isn't it to see original actors return to roles they made famous, but in new versions or continuations of the story? Does having someone like Felton back enhance the whole experience? Does it make it feel more authentic? Or, should a play like Cursed Child be able to stand completely on its own with new talent interpreting the roles? Something to maybe ponder as Tom Felton gets ready to step back onto the Hogwarts grounds, albeit on Broadway this time.